Hey everyone, this is Jay and welcome back to Step by Step Coding. In C Sharp, whenever you code, you use these words public, private, protected, internal, protected, internal. These are called access modifier. These control who can see and use your code. So today in this episode, we are going to break down all 5 access modifier with a simple hands-on coding demo. Let's jump into the code right away. So to start with, what I have done, I have created a solution, okay, and I have 2 projects here. One is having the main project, which is going to have public static void main, where we are going to run our code, and then I have created one library project. So this is where we are going to add, our access modifiers one by one, and we will demonstrate it that how these access modifier impacts and what is the difference between these 5. What are the access level? What is the difference between access level of all these? So we will start with the public. Let's start with the public. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this. Let's say I have a method called ring doorbell in the house. Okay, this is a public. Now this comment says that anyone can ring the doorbell. What does it mean? This is a public. Okay, so simply what we will do, we will go into program here and we will create this object house, new house, and then let's try to access it. So all good. I mean, compiler is not giving any warning or anything like that. If I click on go to implementation here, it will be, I mean, editor will be able to navigate here. So it indicates that it is accessible. Let's try to run this one. And here we go. Ding dong, someone is at the door. So it is a public access modifier. What actually it means that this can be accessible anywhere. And the proof is that if you see here, I mean, this is defined within the house class. We went outside of assembly, so we went another assembly, which is main app, and within that we are inside the program class and we are able to access it. So this is what the public is. Now it, with the contrast, of the public, private is completely opposite. Private is that you will only able to use within the class itself. So let's say that you have a Wi-Fi password within your house, as an example. Okay, so I am going to put this Wi-Fi password. Let's say this is something like super secret password 123. And what I'm going to do, let's come outside of the assembly and let's say that someone is trying to steal that. Okay, and try to change it. Okay, so I am changing it. Okay, now if you see right away, we see this thing. So compiler is giving a warning, and if you see here not warning, it is an error message. It's kind of error message. And if you see here, house.wi-fi password is inaccessible due to its protection level. So that is what the private is. It is only accessible within the class, not outside of that class. Here we tried outside of the class. Let's try one time inside the class. Okay, so I will comment this out here and let's put here not accessible. I will put it here and let's try to access here. If I will access here now, new password, see, it is accessible within class, can access private member. Okay, so this is what the private modifier is. Now let's do the protected. Let's say I have this one, string address get set equal to 123 main street. Okay, now protected is like your family recipe. Okay, which is like within the family, it is accessible to everybody. What actually it means, that within the class or its derived class. So if I come here, right, and if I say that, hey, my address is changed, so within class can access protected member. It is accessible. Okay, and let me do one thing. Let me create another class. Okay, uh, let's say something like smart house, and this smart house is a derived class of the house. Okay, and let's say public void change address. This is a typo. I can change this one as well. And if you see here, changing address to here, if I have something like 123, let's say Melbourne Street, let's say something like that. Okay, now first thing, if you see here, right, if you click on go to definition, it will go and it will start indicating the protected. Okay, so if you see here, so what actually it means that derived class protected is accessible to derived class as well. Okay, and here I mean it's a clear demonstration. Okay, now derived class could be within the assembly or could be outside the assembly. If I move this code, Control C, and if I do like this, right, if I go here, so, and let's say if I do here, right, still you should be able to do that. Protected, you will still able to access it. The reason is the only rule is that within the class or within the derived class, and your derived class can exist anywhere. So I put it the derived class outside of the assembly, and if you see here, if I click on this one and if I click on go to definition, you will still able to redirect here. Okay, so we covered public, private, protected. Let's cover the internal. Okay, so let's say we have something like internal, and let's say we have this one, internal int number of rooms get set. So so internal is like within the assembly itself, it is accessible everywhere. So if I do here something like number of rooms equal to 6, obviously I mean, see, this method doesn't make sense using doorbell, but this is just for demonstration purpose. So it is accessible within the assembly. If I go in a smart house, and if I, let's say if I hear something like public class, let's say neighborhood, right, the reason why I'm putting neighborhood, because we are within the same assembly, right? And let's say if I have here, and if I do like number of rooms equal to 10, if I do here, right, and since it is a different class, obviously we will have to create a object of that house equal to new house, let's say we have here, right? And then if we do here, now see here, okay, so this is accessible as well. So it is internal. Okay, now let's try to access the outside of the assembly. So we have house object here. Okay, so we have house object here, and if we do here something like house dot number of rooms, okay, equal to 20. Now let's do that. Oh my bad, sorry about that. House, okay, now see here, house dot number of rooms is inaccessible due to its protection level. So now you see here, it is internal and we are outside of the assembly, so that is the reason you will not able to access it. Now let me comment it out, and then we will put one internal protected. Okay, now if we have internal protected, and let's say internal protected, we have this one string honor name. Now if you folks see, I mean, we did internal int and we were not able to access outside of the assembly, but since we put it the protected, and protected, what it does, that within the assembly or any derived class. Now we can utilize this derived class. If you declare a derived class within outside of assembly, you should be able to access it. So let's quickly demonstrate this one. We will go in program and we will try to access here. Okay, and number of not number of nodes, let's say here honor name equal to John Doe. Now look here, accessible honor name is internal protected. If I click on definition here, I should be able to do that. So now in this demo, we reviewed public, private, protected, internal, protected. Now let's try to recap one more time just to understand. So one more time, let's go to this slide. Public, accessible everywhere within the class, within the assembly, outside the assembly, doesn't matter. It is accessible everywhere. Private, only inside the same class where you declare it. Protected, it is accessible within the class or derived class. If derived class exist within another assembly, you should be able to access it. Internal, within that assembly only. Okay, protected, internal, within that assembly or through the child class. So that's the sum up of today's episode. If you like this content, please do subscribe, drop a comment, any topic if you like me to cover. Thank you so much for watching.